am Janet Hall, and I am here. Irma,
Gutierrez, I'm here.
Cynthia, Matilda, Ada, Leanne, Susie, Grace,
White, I'm here.
and then we have a vacant position. So based on this, we do not have a quorum, so we will not be voting on any items today. However, we will go ahead and go through the agenda items. Let me sign this real fast. All right. So based on not having a quorum, we will not be approving the minutes. So we will move on to the next agenda item, which is public comment. And we do have a public comment, and this comes from Debbie King.
I'm Debbie King, and I am representing, the Texas Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics. And I'm just here to report that our members are seemingly calmed down and adjusting to this new department very easily. I haven't had any frustrating phone calls. I haven't had any frustrated callers or emails since August, and I will say that they still haven't figured out how easy it is to look themselves up to find out when their expiration date is. I have no idea why people can't do that when our full information is there for anyone to find. But anyway, that's really what I wanted to say. I was very pleased with the year report, and I think this transition has gone really, really well. The other thing I just wanted to let you know is that I just got back 2 weeks ago from the National Dietitians meeting. Actually, only a week ago I got back. And one of the things that was talked about in some quiet meetings, not to the full group, but the idea that there is interest in creating a compact. And if you're on the board aren't real familiar with that, that would be where we would have a compact between states where we could transfer licenses without all the pretending like you're brand new dietitian and having to turn in all that information. So I just wanted to let everyone here know, because I think there might be some questions coming up in the future about whether Texas wants to be part of a compact.
Very good. Well, thank you so much for your comment. I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Thanks, Debbie.
All right, now we move on to staff reports, and our first report is from the executive office.
Yes, Madam Chairman and board members, I'm Nick Bowinas of TDLR. Here to bring you our executive office report, kind of a summary of what's happening around the agency. First off, I want to thank you for being here and thank you for your service to Texas. Want to introduce you to Christine Reif, who is one of our newest staff members and the primary contact for this board going from here out. We appreciate all that Tamala's done, and she's still around, and we've added an extra staff person to take on some of the added advisory boards that we're now managing. I want to start off by saying it's been a sad week around the agency. We lost one of our own Tuesday morning. George Ferry, our compliance director, been at the agency since 1999, fought a brave battle with cancer and passed away. And we, he's missed already, and we wish, our thoughts and prayers are with his family right now. So, but also, I know George was close to this board from day one, so thank you there. Since lawmakers have left town, so to speak, after the 85th legislative session and a special summer session, we agency staff's been busy implementing the bills that were passed and getting ready for some new programs and some changes. So all the divisions have been involved in developing rules, communicating stakeholders, appointing and preparing advisory boards, hiring additional staff, and dealing with education exams, IT programs, and more. On May 29th, Governor Abbott signed into law House Bill 100, which brought transportation network companies to TDLR. And on September 1, TDLR picked up the state's podiatrists. And 2 days ago, we added 6 more health-related programs from the Department of State Health Services that were phase 2 of the 13 total programs that were granted to us 2 years ago. So on Wednesday of this week, we added code enforcement officers, laser hair removal, massage therapy, mold assessors and remediators, offender education programs, and sanitarians. And next September, we will pick up the state's behavioral analysts. Also want to mention that as we add programs to our slate, our agency, these were granted to us by the legislature. Lawmakers have also deregulated 5 of our programs since 2003, and they will deregulate 4 more over the next 2 years. We recommended that action following our strategic plan process, which included feedback from industry and consumers. The legislature agreed to the licensing requirement, agreed that the licensing requirements of these programs were unnecessary and burdensome, and that doing without them posed little or no risk to consumer safety. Also, over the last couple of months, the agency's been busy dealing with the aftermath of Hurricane Harvey. For those licensees and small businesses along the Gulf Coast, we have, in coordination with the governor's office and their Rebuild Texas efforts, we've been implementing procedures for all eligible licensees in the affected areas to help them recover and return to work as quickly as possible. Starting several days before the storm hit the coast, TDLR staff was extending license expiration dates, waiving late fees, license replacement fees, waived CE requirements, and extended grace periods for expired licenses. For those in the affected area, after the storm passed, we had staff help by performing damage assessments in several affected communities as well. In summary, we tried hard to remove the burden of red tape to help Texans rebuild as quickly as possible. Our Harvey focus is now on the rebuild by protecting small business and consumers, avoid unlicensed activity, and ensuring that they receive quality work for their hard-earned dollars. Information on all of this is available on our website at tdlr.texas.gov, and you can also go to the Governor's Rebuild Texas site. We're part of that. I want to remind you again, if you're on social media, to like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, keep up with TDLR events and news, and in addition to our website, of course. But wanted to touch base again on some of our recent web traffic for this program's website, give you an idea of the interest there. In the last 6 months, from April 1 to the end of September, the Dietitians website had 28,653 page views, so that's an average of about 156 a day. And a vast majority of those are accessing the site from a desktop computer, 87%, while only 9% did so from a smartphone and 3% from a tablet. And the top reasons for visiting the site, number 1 were laws and rules, followed by exam and CE information, FAQs, application and forms, and board and meeting information. And that's my report. If you have any questions, be glad to answer. Otherwise, thank you.
Thank you so much. Do you guys have any questions? All right, appreciate it. All right, our next report is from the Compliance Division.
I am Yvonne Feinleib with the Compliance Division. I'm not sure if you're aware that we have actually changed our name of our section from health professions to medical and health professions in honor of the podiatry program, the physicians coming over and being part of TDLR. The report that I put in your packet is fairly general. It's an overview of what we've been doing. The main item that's specific to the program is our standard of care work group, and you do have an agenda item for that later. We are working on the issue that was raised about ordering lab tests for a self-referring client. And that's in process. There's no final language. Wendy will talk to you about that. We haven't had any recent meetings, although we're always happy to come if you know of anybody who would like to hear from us. And we've been mainly working on this phase 2 transition. These are other programs that were with dietitians over at DSHS and are coming over, plus laser hair and mold, which were in a different part of DSHS than professional licensing. So we've been pretty busy, but it's going well, and I'm happy to answer any questions, but I think it's pretty quiet. Most of the questions that I get that are customer service related are scope of practice questions, and a lot of them our rules don't address at all, and I refer them to the academy standards.
Very good. So the kind of questions, are they coming from other medical professionals? Are they coming from the public?
I think they're either coming from licensed or registered dietitians or people who supervise them.
Okay,
Okay, makes sense.
so it's more internal.
I think so, yes.
All
And
right.
everybody seems fine with that when I say, you know, you have professional standards, but they're not all in our rules. We have a rule that says if you violate them, we can discipline you.
Yeah, yeah. Dietitians tend to be a good bunch of people. So, yeah. All right, well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Appreciate your report. Our next report is Education and Examination Division.
Good afternoon, Madam Chair and board members. How are you?
Good, and you?
Doing good. Basically, my name is Jerry Gonzalez. I'm with the Education and Examination Division. And since your last meeting, we really don't have a lot to report or not much going on with the dietitian program itself. Echoing some of the remarks made earlier, we're busy with Phase 2 programs, making sure the transition goes as well as possible, and for now, it just seems to be going well, hopefully as Phase 1 did. With the recent legislature and passing of certain bills that passed, our division is also in the middle of 8 different bill implementation teams, trying to get all those rules and forms and FAQs and everything established, get ready for implementation. Other than that, just day-to-day, real busy and trying to avoid any fires and putting them out before they become wildfires. If there's anything I can answer for y'all?
Just out of curiosity, how frequently does the jurisprudence exam for dietitians get updated?
I'm not certain on when or how often. I know that they were going to review it or take a look at it, but I don't know how far that's gone. We've been busy more with the Phase 2 programs, that trying to get those jurisprudence exams as well as the examinations and CE involved with those programs, that I'm not certain, but I can surely find out for you.
Well, it's just a note, if we all have to take it, every 2 years,
Yes,
it'd be
ma'am.
nice not to take the same test over and over.
Right.
Yeah, by now you have it memorized.
You would
Even
think
though
we
it's a
did.
no-fail test.
Yes, yes, ma'am.
Let's challenge our people. Uh-oh, here we go.
Rick Pizarro, Director for the Education Exam. How are you guys?
Hello.
I just wanted to bring up with the JP exam that we're on that. Please know that we are aware, and you guys are aware about the delivery and the content of the JP exam currently. It is on our radar. We want to get with the work groups and make some good changes. And the changes we're talking about is let's talk with the work group and see where we want to head. Some of the things we've discussed is possibly making it more so that the exam, I hate to call it an exam because it's really currently not an exam. It's more of a CE course.
Right.
Okay?
A
So-
review.
A review. So we need to make those changes so that it's more, we'll hold the licensee accountable.
Right.
So that they know the material. And I don't think the way it's being delivered, that's occurring. So we need to move to that area. We need to get there to ensure that we are making folks accountable that they are aware of the laws and rules for dietitian. So that's where we want to be, and we're not there yet. I think the best thing was to, as Jerry was saying, to wait for the phase 2 to come over, because this problem exists in a lot of the programs that have come over with the JP exam. So we're trying to tackle them all. Let's move the same way, and have that our third-party vendor come up with some ideas, and you guys, with the help of your expertise, on how we can get there. And maybe have some more different questions, a bigger bank of questions, because we don't have a big bank of questions.
No, I think we have 20. So, and question number 18 is, no, we
I hope
can
that
be
helps.
patient. Thank you so much. Just knowing it's in process, I think will be a good
Right.
thing. So, and I understand you're quite busy with phase 2. All right, thank you so much for
Thank
your
you.
report.
Thank you.
Enforcement Division?
Good afternoon, Madam Chair, board members. My name is Virginia Fields. I'm a prosecutor with the Enforcement Division, and I'll be delivering your report today. The Enforcement Division has actually been laying the foundation for proceeding and starting up our cases, so we're actually starting to get to work on that. You'll recall in your May meeting, you approved the penalty matrix for approval and adoption by the Commission. That was done at their meeting on June 16th. Thereafter, it was published in the Texas Register for comment, and then posted July 17th on our website. The penalty matrix being posted, there are no orders as of this report. There are, you'll note from the key statistics for fiscal year 2017, 4 cases. 2 are open, 2 have been closed. 1 was insufficient evidence. The other was an eligibility, criminal eligibility for a license. And then the 2 that are open, 1 is an investigation, and the other, a notice has been sent. So there may be an order, either a final order through SOA, an agreed order, or a default order that will result from that 3rd, 4th case. If you have any questions about the numbers, they have the program numbers with the TDLR fiscal 2017 numbers. But I'm happy to answer any questions.
All right, thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Appreciate it. Licensing? Ooh, you're right here. You're in the queue.
Good afternoon, members. Leonard Rivas, the licensing manager with the Medical and Health Professions Group. I provided the report for the licensing numbers for initial and renewals and provisional licenses. The report does look different than what you're used to receiving. It's done by quarters now. And if you look at the last quarter, the total population is 5,567. And we have 9 provisional licenses for the last quarter. And as of September 1st, most of y'all know we no longer issue provisional licenses.
That was
So
my
they will
question.
be notified that upon renewal, those provisionals will not be renewed.
So how much notice, they get a year or quarter, or how do you?
It's
what's the
probably
timeline?
going to depend on what their expiration date is.
Okay,
So,
so when it expires,
Right,
they'll need
they'll-
to do something different.
correct.
Okay. All right.
And I got just one more thing. We've added 3 new staff members to the Medical and Health Professions Group. Veronica Coronado, she came from the Texas State Board of Podiatric Medical Examiners. Audrey Astran came from the Department of Motor Vehicles, and Charo McCrane came from the Department of State Health Services. That's my report, and
You guys
I'll
are growing
we
with
are
all these new
growing,
boards,
yes.
all these new things coming
programs.
over
Mhm.
phase 2.
Correct. I'll be glad to answer any questions if you have any.
Anything, Irma? All right,
All right,
thank you so
thanks.
much for your
You're
report. All right, so the next thing on our agenda is the update from the work groups and possible recommendations. Yvonne, Wendy, do we have any updates?
Wendy Pella, Assistant General Counsel. We don't have any updates. We had a work group meeting with the Standard Care Work Group, Compliance, and GC staff. We're looking at the laboratory test rule that's 116.141, provider nutrition services, and the issue regarding ordering lab tests. I think we're going to need another work group meeting to do some follow-up research. We're looking at potentially coming back for the full board with some proposed rules, but we need to do some additional research. But that's something we could meet with the work group and then come back at our next advisory board meeting
All right,
with some
very
specifics.
good. All right, so any recommendations for agenda items for the next board meeting? Obviously, we will put on there the work group. Anything else besides our standards? Yes?
This is Wendy Pello, Assistant General Counsel. We'll be bringing the rule proposal that will be implementing House Bill 4007 and all the changes and so that will be at your next meeting. So we'll have that in addition to work group, if there's any proposed rules coming from the work group.
Thank you so much, Wendy. All right, at this point in time, we'll go ahead and determine our next board meeting. And so do we have any possible dates that are being suggested?
We have originally with the bill implementation, we were trying to kind of spread out the programs, but we can move you up to an earlier time if you would like. We have a few dates set in March. You could also take a spot of a program that's moved into February. So we've got possibly coming back either the week of February 12th through the 16th for your first meeting, and then coming back for your second meeting after rules are proposed and comment period, April 30th through May 4th. We also have a few days, if you would rather go into March, you could have your first meeting on March 1st, Thursday, March 1st, coming back on Friday, May 4th, or you could have first meeting Friday, March 2nd, coming back, second meeting Friday, May 4th, or coming in for your first meeting Friday, March 9th, coming back for your second meeting Friday, May 11th. So we've got some options here in terms of what your all schedule looks like.
I have those all memorized in my head.
Yes.
Yes.
I have a question.
Absolutely.
What do you mean by first meeting and second meeting?
When we do propose rules, we,
Oh, okay.
we come up,
Okay.
before we propose them, we'll come in
Right.
with a draft and you all will review the
Right.
recommendations.
Okay,
Public comment, and then come back for a second meeting, you'll review the public comments that we
right,
receive.
okay.
Well, let's tentatively put down your first option,
The
which
first-
was
February.
sometime between February 12th and 16th.
The
because
week
I
of
think
February 12th through
That'll be
16th.
kind of, we don't have to worry about spring breaks or anything like that.
Right.
And then April 30th through May 4th.
Fourth would be your,
That's before college finals, which I know
Right.
we've got some professors. Yes,
No, no,
no,
no.
okay.
Mary
never
Winston,
mind.
TDLR. So,
No, it's before that, Debbie.
remember
in
we
April.
introduced,
Yeah.
yes, remember we introduced ourselves and, yeah, that's okay, it's okay. We're
Sorry.
a cozy group today, but, yes, thank you.
Sorry.
Show me a piece, no. Okay, so let's still stick with February 12th through 16th and April 30th through May 4th. We'll let you all determine the dates. We typically have been doing Fridays because it's easier to travel, but obviously it might not be still the preferred date. So I'll kind of leave it up to, Christine to figure out if there's a better day of the week within that week that works for our board.
And Mary Winston, TDLR, this does give us time to poll the members to check
Yes.
availability.
Perfect, perfect. Because our goal is to have everybody here and have a quorum and make it a valuable time.
Yes, and we're glad that at least, it is on YouTube, so they can catch up. But, yes, if we're going to conduct business, particularly the things that Wendy has said, we do have actions that the board does need to vote on.
Yes,
Yes.
we do. All right. Since we won't take a motion to adjourn the meeting, I'm just going to adjourn the meeting. So we're going to adjourn the meeting at, let's see, 1:25.